So, hello everyone. Um, this will be me uh, recalling what I've studied with regards to psychiatric nursing. I am studying for our semifinals, no, finals examination. I will do my best to recall what I have studied. So I am going for this first lang sa kanisiya. And then I'll try to recall if unsay ma-recall nako. Disclaimer, I am a third year nursing student, so mistakes are evident and mistakes will be made. Okay, let's begin. So we are going to be talking about maladaptive patterns of behavior in psychiatric nursing, specifically your anxiety disorders. So we have a couple in here. We have 6 anxiety disorders. So first, let's go with panic disorder. So when we talk about panic disorder, let's go to Vidibek. Panic disorder. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. So panic disorder are, based on my understanding, these are recurring panic attacks. So what are panic attacks? Panic attacks are described as events or a situation that causes a patient to experience great distress and great discomfort, both emotional, psychological, and physiological. Specifically, uh, these happen within a range of 15 to 30 minutes. Okay? Okay, anxiety di. So, rapid, intense, escalating anxiety. Oh, so, that's your panic disorders. Now, how do we, um, first time, nag-video, kinda nervous. So, how do we, uh, diagnose patients with panic disorder? So, first of all, symptoms of your panic disorder include, kuan, to? Include your palpitations, sweatings, sweating, your SOB or shortness of breath, chest pain, or that sense of suffocation. One of those symptoms. Now, when we diagnose or confirm that the patient has panic disorder, we at least need to have 1 month of uh, the patient having concern of future attacks and the changes of behavior after those attacks. So that's how we diagnose if a patient has panic disorder. Next thing is your interventions, both medical and nursing interventions. So when we say medical, it usually has to do with pharmacological uh, management or interventions. So first, let's go with nursing interventions because we are future nurses. So for nursing interventions, the first thing that we need to do is your CBT. CBT, is it CBT? Let's check if it's CBT. Is it CBT? Is it? Okay, it is. So you nurses utilize cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay. Uh, this ensures that the patient is uh, helps them be aware of their condition and provide solutions for the condition. Now, in terms of medical management or pharmacological intervention, we use your SSRIs, your anxiolytics such as benzodiazepines, and your tricyclic antidepressants. But tricyclic antidepressants are tend to have more negative effect. So we usually opt for SSRIs or benzodiazepines. Also, benzodiazepines are usually used in terms of in short term lang. In short term lang. While SSRIs kay pang long term, your selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors such as fluidity. Yeah, I think. So next thing we're going to be talking about is your phobias. What are phobias? So phobias are defined as illogical and irrational fear of a specific object or situation, such as your arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. So this comes from no, this has no connection to a certain event. So this is a logical and irrational fear of a specific object. Oh, okay. Yeah, with this intense fear of a specific object or situation, there comes extreme distress. Okay, usually characterized by anticipatory anxiety and avoidance behavior. So we have three categories of phobias generally. First is your agoraphobia. So agoraphobia pertains to the fear of situations where escape might be difficult. Next is your specific phobia, in which specific phobia. So it could be certain objects, animals, or your heights, or in fear of tight spaces, etc. And lastly, your social anxiety disorder or your social phobia, which is described as the intense fear in social situations stemming from fear of embarrassment or judgment. In terms of your treatment for phobias, CBT or behavioral therapy. So we have two here, your systematic desensitization and flooding techniques. Your systematic desensitization, your job there, based on my understanding, is that you will help the patient, because the patient is, I think, the patient is anticipating to, or wait, hold on. So what you want to do here is you want to desensitize, or desensitization gani. So you want to desensitize the patient in the patient's fear to that specific object, something like that. For flooding techniques, based from what I understand, it has to do with exposing the patient to that specific phobia. Okay? And when the patient realizes that, oh, I did not die from this, the fear is illogical. So the patient will slowly understand that, or I mean, the patient will uh na mawala yung phobia ba? The phobia is gone. I don't know what's the English term for that. Ana. So that's what I've understand sa phobias. Bro, I am cooked for the exam tomorrow and I still have a lot to study. Damn. So next is post-traumatic Down syndrome. No, post-traumatic stress disorder. So your post-traumatic stress disorder usually refers to past traumatic events that causes emotional distress or negative changes in behavior. So these are described as, where is it? Oh no. Oh, these are described as symptoms with intrusive memories or avoidance of reminders. Kani, this one, negative changes in mood or thoughts, and also changes in physical and emotional reactions. So based from what I've seen in social media and in the general public, PTSD is usually common among people working in the army or working in fields that can cause big can cause a lot of trauma, I think. So treatment. Okay. Before that, there's also subcategories of post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic, according to Vidbeck. What are these? Well, we have a couple of subcategories. So first is we have the adjustment disorder. Okay. Under the PTSD, it's usually described as a reaction to a stressful event that causes problems for the individual. The stressful event that causes problems to the individual. Typically, the person has more than the expected individual. Typically, the person. So, okay. So, adjustment disorder has to do with the difficulty in coping with the sudden changes of the person's life. And it usually develops within a month, but does not last more than 6 months. Kana. Next subcategory of PTSD is your acute stress disorder. So if we say that if we say that post-traumatic stress disorder is we can say that it is chronic because it's usually takes a long time to kanang to heal, to be treated. The treatment takes long, but for acute stress disorder it's shorter, hence the word acute. Okay. It usually occurs from 3 days to a month following the trauma. So it can be a precursor to PTSD. So acute stress disorder, and if it goes more than a month, okay, let's say 6 months, then we can say that it could be PTSD. Now for PTSD generally, oh wait, we also have another subcategory. Reactive attachment disorder and disinhibited social engagement disorder. This usually happens to children that are abused or neglected. Okay, trauma of children that were abused or neglected. Usually, they show signs of koan, antisocial behaviors, no? As we can read here, exhibits unselective socialization. Yes. So overall, your treatment for PTSD is trauma-focused CBT, or what VD Beck would call, hold on, no, adaptive disclosure. So adaptive disclosure, this is a specific CBT for patients with PTSD, usually those involved in the military. Another treatment for PTSD is exposure therapy. I think it has the same idea of flooding techniques for phobias, but the main focus for this treatment is to combat or to prevent the avoidance behavior that occurs to patients with PTSD. Okay, so we want the patient or the client to regain control of their thoughts and feelings. So we let them confront the events or the situations associated to the trauma. So another thing that we're going to be talking about for anxiety related disorders. I forgot. For PTSD, these techniques are called your grounding techniques, no? Yeah. So what so you basic no, grounding techniques, there are the different kind of they are a different kind of techniques, intervention techniques for PTSD. Bro, I'm I'm making a video, man. Damn. Yeah, after na ko. So, PTSD, another intervention or treatment is your koan. Ano sa to? Grounding techniques. God, I am cooked for my exam. So, grounding techniques, are used to patients or clients with PTSD to remind them of the present. Okay? So again, when a patient has post-traumatic stress disorder, then there are flashbacks, nightmares of the traumatic event. So you want to remind the client or the patient that he or she is present, he or she is here, and is safe. Now, speaking of safety, or safe, okay, patients with PTSD or all of these anxiety-related disorders, your number one priority is safety and security. Okay? At most times, patients with anxiety disorders tend to forget the environment that they're in, the physical environment that they're in. So they might not be aware of the objects that are in place. The floor might be slippery. So they are at risk of injury, especially with patients with PTSD or acute stress disorder. Okay? So, number one priority is that you want to make sure that the patient, when experiencing these kinds of disorders or having an event under these disorders, you want to make sure that they are safe. Okay? Safety is your number one priority. Now, lastly, for the last two disorders, we have your GAD and your OCD. So let's go first with GAD. Okay, for your GAD, your general anxiety disorder, okay, if we say that PTSD has to do with with a past traumatic event, GAD has to do with no connected specific person or situation. It's just general anxiety, hence the word general anxiety. So it is excessive worry and anxiety for at least 6 months, and it is not related to or connected to a specific person, situation, or event. Generalized, okay? Generalized anxiety, generalized worry. But it occurs for at least 6 months. So that is very concerning, okay? So with this type of disorder, we can observe symptoms such as restlessness, fatigue, difficulty in concentration, irritability, muscle tension, and sleep disturbance. What are our nursing interventions? So, patients with anxiety disorder, we want we always want to teach them to relax, provide them relaxation techniques and breathing techniques, okay? Usually, patients with anxiety disorder, they begin to, their physiological functions begin uh, to, to dysfunction. Like, they won't function well. So, we want to remind them or to teach them relaxation techniques and breathing techniques, okay? Now, in terms of GAD, you want to assist the patient in identifying the triggers of GAD, okay? And encourage client to recognize and discuss anxiety. In terms of medical or pharmacological management, SSRIs, SNRIs, your anxiolytics such as buspirone and benzodiazepines for short term, okay? Lastly, we have our obsessive compulsive disorder, your OCD. So your OCD is diagnosed when thoughts, images, and impulses consume the person, okay? Or that person or patient is compelled to act out the behaviors to relieve anxiety. So this is divided into two symptoms or two factors. You have your obsessions and your compulsions. Obsessions are defined as your intrusive thoughts, while your compulsions are your actions that you want to do to relieve the anxiety. These tend to be ritualistic as well. Okay, so for nursing interventions, we always go first with nursing interventions because we are future nurses. So for nursing interventions, we let the patient um, perform the rituals, initially, but gradually we limit the frequency of performing the ritualistic behaviors. Okay, we want to support the client's effort to explore the meaning behind the behaviors, the ritualistic behaviors, and we want to teach relaxation and cognitive restructuring. For medical management, again, SSRIs, they're cool, and clomipramine. Kana siya. So, overall, you have your anxiety, no? You have anxiety. Anxiety. So, overall, anxiety is the vague feeling of dread or apprehension. Okay? Bro, where am I going with this? You have, and then, yeah, so anxiety and fear are different. Anxiety is the perceived threat, while fear is the actual threat. Like the threat is actually there. Yeah. Okay? Stress, wear and tear of the body. Whether that be emotional wear and tear, psychological wear and tear, physiological wear and tear. We have different stages of reaction to stress. We have three: alarm reaction, resistance stage, and exhaustion stage. Alarm reaction. Oh, the stress is there. Let's prepare. Resistance stage. Okay, we are experiencing the stress. Let us do our best to let the body be in homeostasis. Exhaustion stage. Okay, the stress is gone, but we are very tired because we have used most of our resources to uh adapt to the stress. Kana. Now, in terms of the levels of anxiety, you have your mild, moderate, severe, and panic. Mild, okay, mild gives you a buff. So more upgrade stats. So wild perceptual field, sharpened senses, increased motivation, and effective problem solving. Very beneficial. Moderate anxiety, perceptual field, narrowed, selectively attentive, but you can still learn with assistance. Severe, this is going to the bad side na. It's going south na. So, perceptual field is reduced, you cannot complete tasks, and you experience ritualistic behaviors. Lastly, panic anxiety. There are psychological negative effects na. So, perceptual field is focused on self, you cannot process your environmental stimuli, and you may experience delusions or hallucinations. So, patients with panic anxiety or severe anxiety, always prioritize safety, okay? Because you may not know, the floor may be slippery, and the patient experiencing a panic level of anxiety may not be aware of the slippery floor, may not be aware of the table on the side, and might hit the table, might slip and fall. Yeah, so prioritize safety. They are at risk of injury. They're very dangerous. So overall, with these anxiety related disorders, what you want to prioritize again is safety in terms of treatment and intervention, relaxation techniques, breathing techniques. For PTSD, grounding techniques, you want to remind the patient that she or he is at the present, she or he is safe. Okay? And also, you also have CBT to some of the anxiety-related disorders. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. In terms of pharmacological management, main thing here is your SSRIs, your selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, such as fluoxetine. Yeah. Okay? And that is all. We also have a couple of drugs here, which I will not study because pharmacology is so it's difficult. Okay, so that will be all. Thank you for listening to my discussion. It's full of mistakes, but we're a student and we're here to learn. Bye.